Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to be ranking every single Elden Ring unique skill. Let's jump straight into it. Death Flare, the unique skill that opens this list, is actually very cool looking, but it's completely useless. I can get at all why to waste a weapon with such a cool design by putting a so limited skill on it. In order to proc the Deathblind status effect, you need your opponent to not move, to not attack, and to do literally nothing. Last Rites is a unique buff designed to be particularly effective against undead enemies and skeletons. What a useful skill, man. It's an aura buff, so it will replace other aura buff effects. Comparing its benefits with other skills that are regular Ashes of War like Golden Bow, this one is not a big deal. Anyways, it might be useful in some scenarios, not the fun ones I guess. Oath of Vengeance increase 5 levels on every stat and poise values for 60 seconds. It's a very interesting buff skill. A good feature about it is that the effect will persist even if you swap the weapon, because I don't think this skill is worth using such an ugly weapon like the Graf's Blade. Fires of Slumber is the type of skill I feel sorry about, cause it could have been a lot better, but instead they decided to leave it as a cool looking ability. It does look really nice, but it doesn't deal any damage. It's basically designed to put some enemies to sleep in a very uncomfortable way. Soul Stifler is a debuff skill that increases the damage against affected enemies by 15% for 1 entire minute. Sounds great, right? Indeed it's not that great cause it takes a while to get activated and you need to be really close to the enemy, so unless the target is in a vulnerable position, you will most likely take a hit or a bunch of hits. Knowledge above all reduces magic damage and holy damage negation on enemies under the effect of this skill. However, it will also affect the caster and it will cost 35 FP. I think it might be seen like a useless skill, but you can use this quick ability to get rid of enemies that doesn't use magic or holy damage against you. Firebreather. Okay, let me explain why to me this skill is somehow better than the previous ones. All previous skills, if you pay attention, are some sort of buff that does not affect the enemies directly. This is the first skill on the list that actually deals some damage on the enemies, and yeah, that's the main reason why I think this one is better than the others. It sucks though. Great-Serpent Hunt, another great skill that had a lot of potential, but my dudes behind the big FS thought that it would be better to just limit the ability and the weapon to only one boss fight. I mean, I think it's very cool that the basic movement hasn't the effect it does have on the Rancor fight, but they could have made it work somewhat differently for the rest of the game, at least with the skill. Familiar Rancor summons a bunch of ghost heads that chase enemies and deal damage to them. It has a very good stance damage if all projectiles connect correctly, but I don't like the fact that it's quite slow to perform it completely. It's a cool unique skill and it's pretty fun to play, but you will get a bunch of hits more than once. Glintstone Dart. I kinda like this skill cause it's very honest about what the player can expect when using it. A Glintstone Dart is all what you will get every time you activate this interesting ability. Why do I think this skill should get this spot on the list? Well, it didn't disappoint me. It is what it is, and the damage is not that bad. Mist of Slumber is very similar to Fires of Slumber, but the utility you can get from this one is way bigger, cause it creates a larger area of effect that will make easier to put weak enemies or multiple small enemies to sleep quickly, besides of having a very low FP cost. This skill is very useful against the Godskins fellas that are literally everywhere in the game. Ruinous Ghostflame. It was very hard to me to put this skill on such a lower spot, but being honest, the skill is very simple. It's just a sword sweep movement that cuts the weapon on Ghostflame, and that's it. It's not different to apply some grease on any other weapon, except that the effect adds 110 magic damage and 80 frostbite build up. It doesn't go any further. It looks sick though. Oracular Bubble. This might be one of the most special skills we can find in a modern video game. First of all, we are talking about a bubble that comes straight out of some sort of horn that will travel slowly towards the target until it explodes. The damage is decent and I really like it. Alabaster Lord's Paw. The skill we are looking at right now, it's a tougher version of Gravitas. The area of effect is bigger, the damage is bigger, and the stance damage is sick. But the ability in general is not quite unique since it's very similar to Gravitas and is slower as well, so that's probably the reason this one didn't reach a higher spot on the list. Golden Retaliation is that incredible skill that everyone loves until they realize that it's not that great after all. What this ability does is to reflect some of the enemy projectiles back to them, but it only works against certain type of attacks. Besides of having a very short active window, it's very probable that you will get hit before successfully deflecting an enemy projectile. Radan's Rain. I feel so sad for this one. Another big skill that was nerfed to the ground before the game was released. I cannot compare the Radan's Rain attack from the boss fight with this horrible stuff we got instead. However, it's quite cool to execute it and I like it. I just think that they could have done it way better. Not more powerful, but more rain-like, you know, rain, a bunch of fucking arrows, bro. Unblockable Blade is the first unique skill on the list that is available on 2 weapons. I know how weird it sounds, but the 2 versions are pretty similar. Both of them are attacks that can't be blocked and great stance breakers as well. However, the skill deals only holy damage the same way than its corresponding weapons, Cypher, Patha, and Coded Sword. Angel's Wings. You know I love the stylish stuff and the ability we have right here is quite nice, but I feel like a follow-up shouldn't be missing on this one. It's a great skill, but it needs a little bit more than just stopping enemies using flash to recover HP or FP. I think this ability is designed mostly to be useful against tarnished NPCs and PvP scenarios. Viper Bite. One of the things that I love the most about Elden Ring is how original and unique some skills are. I know some of them are quite repetitive, but the majority of them, like Viper Bite, are pretty amazing. However, I think the damage could be just a little bit more significant, because I mean, this is not cool. Sorcery of the Crozier is very similar to Glintstone Phalanx Ash of War. It works the same way. It's a little bit faster though, and the damage is decent as well, cause it will come directly from the weapon upgrade. It will not scale with any stat. It's a limited skill, but if you are a strength bunker, you might like this one to try a little bit of magic-like stuff. Tongues of Fire. It's so bad to see this little baby all the way down here, but it lacks of something very important to me. Mobility. This skill is fire, literally, but the fact that you will get locked into the animation when using it makes me feel so frustrated. I mean, it's fair, cause it's based on the big fire chariots, but I don't like to be locked at snail speed. Blade of Gold. In Elden Ring, gold means almost every stupid time holy damage, and as we know after more than 2 beautiful years of enjoying this fantastic Souls title, holy damage is the worst type of elemental damage on the whole game. This skill is quite cool, it has a great acrobatic value, but the fact that the projectile is poorly holy makes it fall so low on the list. Devourer of Worlds. I literally stole the following line of a guy out there, but I do agree with him. It says, for a skill named Devourer of Worlds, it deals such a disappointing amount of damage. I know that the main purpose of the skill is lifesteal, but come on, I think it should deal a bit more damage or a bit faster to cast. This guy is a genius. What the hell they were thinking when building this skill? Sacred Phalanx. Bro, they had it on their hands. This could have been the best holy damage skill on the game. With a faster speed to fully perform it and a larger area of effect, this thing will be actually playable. I mean, it's not that bad, but sometimes against fast enemies doesn't even connect the target and in consequence doesn't deal any damage. Flame Speed. What a great skill we have here. The fact that we can shoot a giant projectile from a shield tells a lot about this unique ability and of the game as well. If the ability wouldn't take a whole life to reload the stupid thing, it would be on my top 10 favorite skills. But then it's slow. And I mean really slow. It took me a while to get some good hits with this thing. Contagious Fury. Now you are contagious with the fury, bro. Let me explain, please. We are using the head of a jellyfish as a shield, and we squeeze its nuts to get buff in a red stuff that I want to believe is not blood, cause dang it bro, that will hurt. Anyways, the buff is quite powerful and lasts enough time as long as you are using the shield. It's a fair skill. It's a fair skill. I like it. It's red. Establish order. I know my list is getting each time weirder, but guys, exploding while you perform an attack pose just to immediately perform a sword dance that release waves of golden light, it's definitely not a bad skill. However, as much cool as it is not that powerful and it takes a while to perform it completely, so you might be vulnerable a little bit. Railing Standard. Alright, I know what are you going to say, it's just a buff skill, Carlos. do you remember what you said before? How do you prefer this thing over established order? Well, my little bro, it's just because this is the most powerful aura buff in the game. It lasts less than Golden Bow, but it's faster to cast and costs less FP, and you will buff allies as well, so I don't have friends to play the game to buff them, but surely you do, right? Corpse Wax Cutter is a very nice attack that consists on lifting the sword up high to smash the ground, releasing a cool shining red projectile that inflicts holy damage and slowly drains the enemy HP for about 2 seconds. It has a decent range and it's very useful in multiple scenarios. To me, an extra projectile coming after the first one would make this skill one of the best. Dreaming is free, guys, dreaming is free. Ice Lightning Sword. You can't blame me about this one. Blue Lightning is always better than the yellow one. In Elden Ring, the sources of Blue Lightning are limited, and this weapon indeed is the only one that has the ability to coat itself on Ice Lightning, which grants lightning damage on the katana as well as a nice frostbite build up. Very cool ability. I say it very 2 times cause it's very cool, bro. Summer Ice Storm. The skill I'm going to show you here is really powerful. It builds up frostbite too quick and deals a great amount of damage in a very short amount of time. If you use the skill when the enemy is in a vulnerable position, you will easily melt its HP bar, besides of dealing huge stance damage. Onyx Lord's Repulsion could be confused with Gravitas or Alabaster Lord's Pull, but this skill, as its name says, sends enemies flying away instead of pulling them in. I prefer this one cause it's similar to Wrath of Gold but purple and more powerful. It's not quite unique, but I like to explode and watch some ragdolls going crazy on the air. Blade of Death. Hey, this one looks very similar to me. I think I saw this one before, but with a golden projectile, right? This is exactly the same skill than Blade of Gold, but at least to me is way better cause this time the projectile looks way better, and it will drain enemy HP for about 5 seconds, which is actually gross. However, it's important to say that at 80 fate, Blade of Gold will deal more base damage. It will not drain enemy HP though. What if we take a bubble shower? Would you like it? I think you will like it, right? Bubble Shower. I love the skills that are completely related to its name. In this case, when performing Bubble Shower, we are going to be releasing a bunch of bubbles that will chase the target. It deals holy damage, which will limit the power of the skill. However, the ability looks beautiful and will easily break any enemy stance. It doesn't make sense because they are bubbles and yeah. Bear Witness. Dude, I saw that video on YouTube of a bear testifying on a court and I gotta say it's exactly what comes to my mind when I hear this skill name. The damage on this one is very decent and I really appreciate the abilities that allow you to perform movements that are exclusive of some bosses. And having the head of a dragon spitting fire on the air is what I call a unique skill, bro. Claw Flick. Talking about unique skills, we have a very weird one right here. I actually do not enjoy this one as much as many people do, but I'm pretty sure there isn't too much games out there that will let you use a finger flick as a powerful attack that used properly can defeat a god and make you conquer a whole world. Weird skill but very unique and useful. You like to play with fingers, right guys? Golden Tempering. This skill is performed by the Graft Scion on its second phase. It's a very cool looking ability that buffs the weapon with holy attack power and enables a fantastic dual wielding combo attack when executing charged heavy attacks. This effect will last about a minute, which makes this skill a great choice to have a fun run. Shriek of Milos. Shriek of Milos is quite a unique skill, but is very underrated as well. It begins with a powerful explosion that hit enemies so hard. By using this skill, you will get multiple benefits like more damage, reduce the resistance of elemental defense of the enemy, and enables a combo of 4 powerful heavy attacks that can be charged to destroy any dude ahead. Flowing Form. This is the second skill on the list that is featured on 2 different weapons, the Nox Flowing Sword and the Nox Flowing Hammer. The weapons are on 2 different categories, but the skill works similar on both. The sword version is fancy but not that powerful, however the hammer one is amazing. It's like an elastic ball that puts foes straight to the ground. Flame Dance. Oh my god, bro. I would like to see this one on the top 10 of the list. Sadly, this fantastic skill takes a while to be performed completely and can be cancelled between the animation, which lead the player to get destroyed a bunch of times. The damage is not that crazy, but the movement is so freaking elegant and epic. Very sad to see this wild skill all the way down here. I'm so sad, but so sad, bro. You can't imagine how sad I am right now.
Shut up!
Spinning Wheel, better known in the Elden Ring community as the pizza cutter, is a nice skill that acts as a chainsaw and can build up bleed so quick. However, you have to be prepared to take some hits if you want to hold the ability enough time to deal a significant amount of damage. It's very tricky to use it properly, but it's very original. I do like this one a lot. But I mean a lot. Great oracular bubble skill. We have a bubble, a bunch of bubbles, and sure we have a big bubble here. I know you might be thinking, what the hell is going on in this dude's head? Listen carefully, homie. Before Elden Ring, have you ever imagined a bubble as a way to attack some weird creature? No, then shut the f up, dude. This thing can be destructive if used properly. Miquella's Ring of Light. You know what I really like about this ability? When using it, the weapon will summon amazing rings of light that looks like Krillin skin sand and will go straight to the target. You can fire multiple rings of light by repeating inputs. The skill can be used at any range and it will be pretty effective. It deals holy damage though. There is a bunch of unique skills with holy damage and yeah, why? Sea of Magma. Don't deceive this one with the better one. What you can do with this ability is burn the hell out of enemies that are weak to fire damage so quickly. The best part of this skill is that you can easily dodge to cancel the animation, allowing you to not take hits. I think a tank build can be combined greatly with this skill, but I am more of a dodge guy. I like to dodge, to roll, you know? To roll like Air Tree Slam. I have to say that if some lady wants to attack me using this skill, I won't dodge that shit a single time, bro. Nah, I'm just kidding. Probably not, man. I like this skill a lot. It's so cool and it's very original. The first time I saw the Air Tree avatar doing this thing, I was laughing so hard. It was so cartoonish but dangerous as well. Great skill right here, guys. I command thee, kneel, lowly tarnished. Yeah, this is my favorite movement performed by Godlike and it's exactly the same animation for the skill. I am not a big fan of Great Axes, but this one is definitely worth it just because the skill is fantastic in many ways, but you won't be able to roll until the animation ends. So to me it's a very well balanced ability. Thunderstorm, such an underrated skill we have here right now. I mean, as you can see, it's not one of my favorites, but this one deserves more love. It's amazing, it's powerful, cool looking, and it will buff your weapons on lightning for about a minute, besides of being one of the unique skills that look more aggressive, you know, aggressive like Wave of Gold. I don't have to explain this one. It's not my favorite in terms of effectiveness in most scenarios, but I'm pretty sure there is not another skill that could beat this one in terms of farming runes. You just have to keep resting and repeating the skill against the poor Albinaurix in Morrowind Palace and you will become rich so fast. You just have to commit Kenos. Nebula. This is the third unique skill on the list that is featured on two different weapons, but in this case both versions are pretty much the same. It only changed the angle of attack and the way the dark cloud is spread around the character. However, I find them useful in the same proportion. Amazing ability, really good to stance break gameplay. You don't know what is stance break, right? Dynast's Finesse. I was not expecting too much about this one. I knew about the existence of this skill since the first weeks of Elden Ring around March of 2022. You are too young to this thing. But all this time I have been playing this game, I've never touched it. I thought it was not that incredible until I tried it. Man, what a fancy way to dodge and counter attack. This might be the favorite one of some people out there. Yeah, filthy casuals. Storm Kick. I used to hate Commander's Nile boss fight because of its high difficulty when you are a new player, but the more I played the game, the more I like the second phase when he jumps and slams its prosthesis on the ground surrounding the area on lightning. The fact that the player can perform something similar with this skill is absolutely insane. Thumbs up for this baby. Magma Guillotine. I know my list doesn't seem to make sense, but I love all these abilities that push the limits in terms of logical movement. By using this skill you will leap forward, smashing the sword into the ground, creating a magma pool dealing criminal amount of stance damage. It's quite slow though, so you might need some good poise to use it properly. But man, this one is wild. Regal Roar. I was thinking on sending this one to the lowest spot of this top, but then I realized how powerful it can be if used correctly. Initially it looks like it's only a roar buff, but if you follow up the skill with heavy attacks will perform a very powerful combo that replicates Godfrey's moveset. The feeling on this one is the bomb. Regal Beastclaw. A guy out there described this thing as having 5 vacuum slices at the same time, and I agree with him. However, the overall design of this skill is beautiful. I love that little shake on the air before slamming the thing into the ground, creating those destructive bestial claws. Such a unique skill on a very nice weapon. Bloodhound's Finesse is one of my favorite anime-like skills. Everyone knows how deadly this one is. You can destroy every single enemy you want using this skill. It deals a lot of stance damage as well. Let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts about this ability. I don't have too much to say, it's fantastic, but as you can see I prefer many others over this one. Siluria's Hook! The ability I'm about to show you here is not even close to be at the same level of power of the previous one, but this skill can literally penetrate enemies and hit others behind them. It looks like a sniper bullet going in slow motion. I would like it more if it was more effective in terms of damage, but what can I say, I prefer the visual stuff over the effectiveness. Gold Breaker. Speaking about visual stuff over effectiveness, Gold Breaker is quite unique. You will slowly levitate to charge your hammer before smashing it hard into the ground, sending everything on the surroundings to the air. It deals a lot of stance damage, being one of the best abilities you can choose to get some crit attacks. Rosus Summons. Underrated as hell, I'd say. No one talked about this skill until this guy decided to not hit Elden Ring using the Rosus axe. Those extra 3 hits coming from the skeletons are destructive. You can even get smashed to the ground and the summons will still hit the target, saving your ass from death, man. Try this one, you will have a blast with it. Thundercloud Form. Another underrated skill that is absolutely insane to destroy big targets. It turns out that when you are in cloud form, you will still hit the target, and if every cloud connects on the enemies you will easily break their stance so quick, besides of having such a cool design and decent damage. Give it a chance and I'll buy you all a taco. Ordovis Vortex. We are getting into the real stuff right now. Welcome to the top 25 unique skills. On the last spot we have the magnificent skill used by the Crucible Knights that wields a sword. Even though it deals holy damage, it's so powerful and fun to play. The feeling on performing Ordovis Vortex against any enemy on the game is quite unique. Definitely a must play skill. Storecaller Cry. This is the definitive gravity skill. It's a fusion between Alabaster Lord's Pull and Onyx Lord's Repulsion, while replicating Radan's dual sword smashing attack. It deals a very good amount of damage and of course it looks sick. I find this skill very useful in multiple scenarios, but is way better when dealing with groups of multiple enemies. Gravity Bolt. I know what I said before, but this one is one of the OGs. I remember people breaking enemy stances with only 2 hits of this baby here. Right now it's very underrated because it's not OP anymore, but I think it's pretty decent and fun to play. You need to give another chance to this one. Wolf's Assault consists on a lethal piercing jump attack followed up by a frostbite explosion. If both parts of the attack connect, depending on the enemy you are fighting, you might only need one execution to build up frostbite on him, and you can keep repeating the skill dealing more damage. It's such a unique ability that can be used perfectly in every situation. The movement of the Wolf's Assault is cold as hell, bro. Frenzy Flame Thrust is the type of skill you will never use until you watch someone else using it because you are a fucking poser and you are like, wait, is that new? Then you go to the game and turns out that you already have the Vicewar Spear and you start thinking, why I didn't use this one before? And yeah, why, right? This skill is not as weak as many people think. It's actually quite destructive and it can melt some enemies quicker than other weapons. Curse Blood Slice. I like this skill for multiple reasons. First of all, it looks sick. Visually, it's obviously one of my favorites out there. The motion animation is exactly the same Morgoth uses to attack the players, plus it has blood fire. It connects Morgoth with Mog, and I feel like this ability should be in a higher spot, but the rest of the skills we are going to watch are all incredibly awesome, man. Ghost Flame Ignition. This is the perfect combination between power and versatility. With this unique skill you can create a huge explosion or a path of ghost flame that will freeze your enemies. It's perfect to fight any type of enemies at any range. The only reason this skill is not in a better place is merely because of personal preferences, bro. Redubia Bloodblade, another OG here that people abandoned so fast. Many players used this weapon on early game but didn't give it a chance for the rest of the playthrough, and this weapon is wild. As you know, bleed builds are broken in Elden Ring, so with a decent arcane level you will melt any boss HP bar with ease and style, which is more important. What a great ability. Eokite's Dancing Blade. I present to you the best skill to destroy enemies in the whole game. I'm into that shit of one-shotting bosses, bro, and I've tested almost any skill you have seen on this list, and I know each one very well. And Eokite's Dancing Blade, specifically the Marais Executioner sword version, is the only skill that can one-shot Malenia, the only one. It is available in Regalia of Eokite as well, but it's not that powerful on that one. And even if you don't create a one-shot build, you can destroy enemies so fast. It's really amazing. Spear Call Ritual. This is exactly what I would like to see on Radahn's Reign, a powerful ability that can destroy any enemy at distance in such a cool looking way. With this one you will raise your spear to call a rain of death spears that quickly put any boss to sleep. I think the only weakness of this ability are the fast and small bosses like Malenia or Gideon, but I truly love this one, and you will, trust me. Corpse Pillar. I know you're hating me right now, especially if you are a PvP player. Take a shower. But man, Corpse Pillar is incredibly powerful even after 500 nerfs. It is still being broken as hell, and I love to spam L2 and see the boss HP bar draining like crazy, man. Anyways, I think this one reached the top 15 because I love katanas. I actually love the katana gameplay in Elden Ring, katana mods and katana games like Sekiro, so it's just my opinion. Bloodborne Ritual, aka as I said before, I like the skills that replicate bosses' movements, and what a movement this skill is replicating, right? You can literally become the Lord of Blood for a few seconds when using this ability. It does a great damage, it covers everything on red, and it causes blood loss. What else do you want, you little bastard? It's not perfect though, but I like it. I really like it. I truly like it. Wave of Destruction.
Serious?
What do you expect from me? The more explosive the ability is, the more I like it. I'm sorry. With this cool skill, you will be able to send any boss to sleep. This skill is quite useful against the hardest enemies on the game, and of course it looks fantastic. This is actually the definitive gravity unique skill. I'm sorry. Transient Moonlight, you idiot, a magic version of the Unsheathed Ash of War. It sounds so simple until you try it. When I am thinking about a katana, I imagine a fast weapon that doesn't deal too much damage. But Transient Moonlight will be fast as you last night, man, and will deal a tremendous damage to any enemy. Now imagine how bad it's going to be for enemies that are weak to slash damage type and magic. They are going to get bullied so bad. Fantastic skill, near to my top 10. Very close. Search of Fate is a skill that I just discovered and I fell in love instantly with it. It's not even close to be an optimal skill, but as I said, I prefer the visual part above the effectiveness. And even if this one is quite strong against large enemies, I liked every part of this unique ability. The sound, the visual, it feels like you become a volcano exploding and sending magma to the air like you are... It's sad to not see this baby on my top 10. Very close. Taker's Flame. What exactly makes this ability so epic? Listen carefully, my friend. It deals a tremendous amount of damage, besides of healing 10% of players' max HP plus 150 flat HP on each successful hit. The ability scales purely with fate and deals fire damage. The range this thing has is wild. If you want to play at distance and don't want to use spells, this is definitely the skill you have to use. It's very easy to get as well, so in my very humble opinion, this one is the best unique skill for a new player that struggles with the game difficulty. The Queen's Black Flame. I know what I told you guys, I don't like slow skills, but this one, bro, I don't know. Each time I saw the skill, I love it so much. I think the slow speeds give the sense that you are performing a very powerful thing. I only get this feeling specifically with this ability. You have to get a good timing to pull it off successfully on a boss fight. The damage is more than decent, but it's not exceptional. I'd say that in the same way than with previous spot, it's just that I like this unique skill so much. Moonlight Greatsword is the default skill of the Dark Moon Greatsword, a weapon that can be seen in multiple FromSoftware games. Many people love this weapon because of that reason and its cool design, but in this case I'm just ranking the skill, and they knew how to create a great skill for such a special weapon. This skill is powerful as hell, it smashes everything ahead, it's easy to use, it looks insane, and the effect lasts enough time. What a nice ability. If you haven't played it yet, what are you waiting for, bro? Magma Shower, eh? I don't care if you shower with anything, just do it please. Spinning attacks with magma streams cannot be a bad combination. This is one of the rarest skills on the whole game. To get the magma blade you must farm a serpent for a bunch of hours, but it's completely worth it. With this ability you will look badass, deal a lot of damage, and break enemies' stances so easy. If you are struggling with a boss fight, you can spam this ability to get it stun locked to death. I will not think twice to complete a chill run with this wild beast. Rawr. Wow, wild skill, oh my god. Night and Flame stance. Oh man, everyone was using the sword of Night and Flame back then. Some babies crying it was broken, make devs to nerf it, but who cares, bro. This is just a delicious ability. You can perform a small version of Comet Azure or a great fire attack similar to Flame of the Red Mains. Both attacks deal a ridiculous damage and both are really easy to use. The best part of this ability is how unique it is in general. This skill is the only one that can be benefited by Faith or in at the same time. Waterfall Dance. When I saw the waterfall dance movement on Malenia for the very first time, I reacted as many of you guys did. I was like, what in the actual hell was that? Deep inside myself I wanted to perform that movement as a player, idiot. How am I supposed to do it as a human? But I didn't imagine it was going to be possible until I defeat that filthy rot witch. If you position yourself properly in a battle, you will be able to perform the whole combo, destroying every single enemy in a second. This skill is a fantastic damage dealer, it builds bleed quickly, and it looks like an enemy attack that came straight out of Sekiro. Buckler Parry. As I established in the beginning of this video, this list is not a conventional one. So let me tell you why I love this skill so much. There are many ways to parry enemies on Elden Ring, multiple shields and Ashes of War designed specifically to perform this movement, but not a single one feels like the Buckler Parry. I even made a whole video explaining why it's so easy and satisfying to parry with this skill. You can even cheese Malenia using this skill. I know it is not for everyone, but if you catch the trick behind this thing, you will end up loving it. Yeah, probably not, you suck. Bloodblade Dance. I wouldn't mind if this skill was not broken as it actually is, cause I feel strongly fascinated every single time I use this skill when I saw those tornado-like attacks, just to quickly perform a follow-up that repositions the player to avoid enemy attacks. This is a very original skill. It's very easy to get and it can outplay every single Elden Ring enemy. Obviously, it will be stronger against enemies weak to fire and bleed, but in general, this thing is stupidly powerful. Destined Death. If you ask me which one is my favorite Elden Ring boss fight, I will quickly answer it is Malekith. They did that guy so wrong, man. It should hit a lot harder and it should have a lot of more HP. Many people don't even know the whole moveset of this boss fight because it doesn't last enough. Anyways, as you can imagine, this unique skill replicates one of the best movements of Malekith the Black Blade, and it does it very freaking good. The damage is not broken at all, but it's quite high. It reminds me a lot about the one mind skill of Sekiro, but with a dark red VFX. A fantastic skill that everyone should try at least one time. And we reached the first place, and it can be other than Ancient Lightning Spear. The best of the best, my favorite one for many reasons, and I don't have to explain why. This insane piece of art speaks for itself. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Remember that you can have different preferences to mine. Your rank list is as much valid as mine. Let me know in the comment section what are your top 5 unique skills. So if I entertain you for a few minutes, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to my channel, cause that way you will help me so much to create more and better content for you. I hope you're having a great day, guys. My name is Carlos, and I'll see you in the next one.